Trace.
Leave the lights on.
decision makers to do the
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to the Motive Racing channel. Let's turn that off. Welcome back at Brands Hatch for the first round of the GT4 series here for Season 2 on Assetto Corsa Competizione. You may recognise my name's Andy, and I'm joined in the commentary box tonight by my good friend Sergey here for the Tier 2s. Sergey, welcome along. Great to have you with me, my friend.
Yeah, hello Andy. It's good to be here in commentary box again. We are starting another season here in Motive Racing in ACC. So we started Porsche Cup season this Monday. This Tuesday we started Clio Cup, and now we are starting GT4 season. And we are running now in Tier 2 in Brands Hatch in 9th qualification, and it will be interesting and challenging for these guys. Some of us have first races here in Motive. We'll watch what they can do here.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of, as we say, we didn't have the tier 2s last season for these GT4s, so this is obviously the first time that we've had the 2 tiers for this particular series, and we're very excited to see how a lot of these drivers coming into this series for the first time are able to fare. We've got a lot of the returning drivers from last season in the tier 1s coming up later on in an hour's time, but for now we've got a whole host of new talent on offer. And it's going to be exciting to see. We've got a lot of drivers who made their name on Project Cars 2 here at Motive, who are well-known faces on Project Cars 2, like Falguest and Grandad Steve. We know that those two regularly turn out on the Project Cars 2 leagues. We've also got RWI Racing. I recognise McGlenn, absolutely. Regular races in the GT3s on Project Cars. Rekos from the GT3s on a Sunday, showing up for these GT4 this season. Sub-Zero as well, good to have him. Daisy Camel, Standard Control out there on the track tonight, newcomer to this league. But yeah, this is a recipe for what is going to be, I'm sure, some very exciting racing. We've got a half an hour sprint race for this tier 2s. Just a quick sort of build up to the tier 1 event, and the top 5 from this tier 2 league will eventually gain promotion to tier 1 for next season, and vice versa. The bottom 5 from tier 1 will get demoted to this league that you see right here, as we're seeing the number 96 car there of Evans getting into the barriers. Ooh, that's not what he would have wanted there in the early stages of this qualifying session. But we're 4 minutes in at the moment, and it's Xander Flander currently setting the pace at the moment on a 1 minute 34.7. He's got 2 tenths back to Quadeo in P2. 2 BMWs heading the field up. So look at this. This is a
lot of BMWs. It's really interesting to watch. But now they don't have good times, so I saw that Standard Control in practice made low 32, and it's really in the pace of top 5, I think, in tier 1. So I think that Standard Control have got a lot of chances to qualify on pole now, and now he's finishing his outlap. He's finishing his outlap, and we'll watch what he can do in his first flying lap.
Yeah, absolutely. Standard Control, we know that he's capable of a lot better than what he's put on the board currently. He hasn't set a time at the moment, so we'll have to see. But for the time being, before Standard Control comes in and does what we think is a 132, it's actually quite close at the top, and Snooky gets a little bit loose there, coming through Druid's hairpin at the top of the hill. He brings it back into the pits, but he's gone P1 at the moment by 600ths of a second ahead of Xander Flander. Cordeo, Hype Schulze up there. RWI Racing's just gone up to P3 there, but
Cordeo made a good lap.
Yeah, he's kind of eclipses them all there with a 133. First man into the 1 minute 33s. Track reckons it's, well, the telemetry at the top of the screen reckons that the track should be running fast tonight, which means that we're going to see the best lap times coming in pretty much in this session. We're in the night time at the moment, so that may be an advantage actually. I found last season that these GT4 cars tend to actually go quicker at night than they do during the day. We always found that in the practice sessions we'd be on one level, and then once we get to the qualifying and the races, the cars would just step up a gear and be about half a second quicker during the night time. So yeah, once again we're seeing that the best of the GT4 cars comes during the night time. But Cordeo 0.6 of a second at the top of the leaderboard. Snooky in P2 at the moment. We've got Ryan Ruby slots in ahead of Xander Flander. Xander Flander in the pits. RWI Racing sat in 5th place, with Falguest currently running in 6th at the moment in this qualifying session. Hype Schulze in 7th place, and the top 7 separated by a second. And then you've got a big gap back to Nilsson there, sat in 8th, 2 seconds off.
Standard Control made it.
Oh, look at that.
32.9. 1 second off everybody, yeah. Has got the pace.
Yeah, already showing that he probably should be in tier 1 in the early stages of this season. I imagine that there is a spot opening up in tier 1. I can imagine if there is any spaces opening up, then he might get an early call up if it's needed, because Standard Control seems to be on another wavelength so far. But still a way left to go in this qualifying session, and maybe some of these drivers haven't quite found their feet in these early parts of the session, and obviously the track will get rubbered in, and we'll start to see the lap times coming in thick and fast as this session wears on. Xander Flander still sat in the pits. He's the only driver of these 18 cars in this lobby who isn't out on track just at the moment. As you see, Hype Schulze got up into P3 there. He's still 1.6 seconds off the pace there. Nilsson coming up towards the line. What can he do? He can't improve. Stays in P10 just for the time being. We've got still 6 cars still yet to set a lap time right now. We've got HR USA on the Lolo, Lazy Camel, Evans, McGlenn, Rekos, all still yet to set lap times right now. Xander Flander, Nilsson and Grandad Steve all sat in the pits. Grandad Steve, big shout out to him actually. He did an excellent job last night in the Clio Cup Tier 1. He really did put in a shift and challenge some of the regulars. I was racing in that one, but don't tell me on that because I was absolutely terrible. Oh wow, look at that, a 132.3. That is incredible stuff there from Standard Control. Do you know what? I seem to remember Javierranz's pole time last season in Tier 1 was around
32.2.
32.2 last season pole in Tier 1. Standard Control only 1/10 of a second off of the runaway Tier 1 championship winner last season, Javierranz. That is astonishing pace there from Standard Control. In the Ginetta as well, as we see Credeo coming up towards the line. He can't improve, stays in P2 for the time being, but very early on in this qualifying session, Sergey, we're seeing that there is quite a clear favourite for this Tier 2. I'm not going to say title because I can't even imagine him staying in this league till the end of the season. I'm sure he's going to get an early call up, but certainly for this race tonight, Standard Control has got to be a dead cert almost for this one, barring any catastrophes at the start.
Yeah, I think that Standard Control, if he will take the first place right from the start, I think he will lead the session till the end, and he will extend his gap even more.
Yeah, it looks like he's just going to keep finding his feet and banging in the lap times. We've got 5 minutes left to go here in this qualifying session. Snooker comes over the line, can't improve. We've got another driver joining the session, so that's Mr. CJ there popping in. Yeah, so that's good to see. He's obviously found his way into the session. Also, we've got Freeman waiting to talk to us in the waiting room for the interview. So let's see what Freeman has to say. Obviously, Freeman due to race in the Tier 1s a little bit later on. And he said to us in the build-up that he wanted to have a chat with us. So Freeman, come in when you're ready, mate. Hold on. Let me just... hold on 1 second. Let me just sort this out. Right, Freeman, if you click up and then click back on the chat again, you should be able to unmute yourself. Hopefully. I don't know what's going on there. For the time being, it looks like Cordeo's gone a little bit quicker. He's improved by a 10th of a second.
1/10. And Rekos goes P3.
Yeah, you're right. He has. He's done an even stronger lap time there. Permissions. Let's just double check that is all correct. Yeah, should be able to. Everyone should be able to talk once they're back into the channel. So we try that again. Try it one more time. Yeah, Freeman, you should be able to unmute yourself.
A bit.
Lazy Camel, yeah, goes a little bit quicker.
But it's not enough to be in top 10 now. And who will be next? Cross the line, I'll just... Oh, it's Rekos. He'll be next to cross the line in Audi. It's really interesting for me to see the pace of these guys in Audi here, because, you know, I'm driving in the Audi and I'll drive in Tier 1 in some minutes, and it's interesting to me to watch how these guys on Audi can do, what lap times they will have. Let's watch what Rekos will do now.
And comes up towards the line. Can't improve. Not for now anyway. Somebody just texted in the pits just behind him there. So 3 minutes left to go in this qualifying session, and right now it's looking very much like Standard Control. He's going to be your man on pole for this opening round of the Tier 2 Championship here for the GT4s. Cordeo's currently sat on second.
Really close between P4 and P8. They just separated by 1/10. Unbelievable.
Yeah. It is so tight behind
so
him.
Close.
If it wasn't for those two, at the top, Standard Control and Cordeo, it would be such a tight field. But Standard Control, I think, probably should be in the top tier. It's becoming pretty clear already that he's a step above these Tier 2 drivers, and a lot of these drivers are new to this GT4 series, so you'll find a lot of people trying to find their feet and get a little bit more familiarity with these cars. Maybe they haven't played this Assetto Corsa Competizione game here on the PlayStation as much as some of the other guys who play here, who race here at Motive Racing. So there's definitely still room for improvement for each and every single one of these drivers right now. But yeah, standard controls clearly put in the work, and the only Ginetta in the field has currently got 2 seconds ahead of everybody else at the top. So it is quite a turnout for the books for sure. The Ginetta, as you said to me before we went on air, Sergey, earlier on, you mentioned to me tonight you reckon the Ginetta would be pretty strong here due to the lack of reliance on speed. It's tricky track.
Yeah, not much straights. I can say that it's only one straight, start-finish straight, and Ginetta can be very good in corners. So if you have a good setup to ride in these corners, you can be really fast, which Stand Control now shows us.
Yeah, he really has, and it looks like we've got RWI Racing's gone up into 4th place with that last lap there. I mean, just under a tenth of a second off of Rakos, who's still sat in P3. Got a couple of drivers just moving out of the way there, coming up towards Druids. It can get quite congested through there. The pit exit can be quite tricky here at Brands Hatch because you kind of get through and straight out into the action, don't you? There's not really any kind of like there's not really any way where you can sort of just filter in, is there? You're kind of like straight in the thick of it, and you've got drivers coming around starting their laps into Paddock Hill. So it's really very much, yeah, it is a difficult one. If you see HR USA there going up into P3, pushing his Rakos down into 4th, 1.7 seconds off of standard control as HR USA, and only a couple of tenths of a second off of Cordeo. Just having a look here. I'm sure that HR USA is meant to be in Tier 1, isn't it?
No, I don't know.
Let's have a look at this. I'm just double checking. There seems to be too many drivers in this lobby. I'm sure there's too many drivers in here.
Yeah, he's in the list of Tier 1 drivers.
HR USA is meant to be in Tier 1. So we need to somehow
delete him.
So, would you be able to message him? Just say you're in Tier 1. I can't. I've got the stream on. Hold on, let me pull up my phone actually. 1 second. HR USA is meant to be in Tier 1, but he's jumped in the Tier 2 lobby. So this is not. It's not ideal at all. But I'm just making sure that there isn't anybody else. So he is. Nilsson, I thought that he's in Tier...
Nilsson?
Tier 2. Nilsson's in Tier 2, I believe.
I think Nilsson in Tier 1.
QTKP, yeah, Tier 2, he's fine. HR USA is in the wrong tier.
Yeah.
I think he must have misread the info.
I wrote him.
So we need HR USA to drop out of the session. Chat, thank you, Sergey. Thanks for that, mate. So hopefully HR USA heeds that message and jumps out before we get to the race start. But that's a bit of a comical moment there before we've really even got going for this season. Rakos goes up into 2nd place and leapfrogs Cordeo by 0.002 of a second. So Rakos pulling in a decent lap time there right at the death.
But Cordeo's on the flying lap
P3. Yeah, let's see if he can improve, get himself back on the front row maybe in the dying embers of this session, coming up towards the final corner now. Let's see what Cordeo can do here. Has he got a little bit left in the tank? Has he got any talent remaining which he can extract here in the final part of this lap? Driving around in the BMW, the highest running BMW in this session. What can he do?
No.
He can't improve. No, stays in P3 unfortunately for him. HR USA has got the message. He's left the session. That's brilliant.
I think he will have interesting race in Tier 1 today. So.
Yeah, it's for sure. But thank goodness that we managed to get that message to him before we got to the start of this race. Because I'll tell you what, if he'd been involved in an incident at Turn 1 in the tier that he's not supposed to be racing in, I mean, I imagine that. I mean, it's unlikely that he's going to be involved in an incident. You know, HR USA is a clean driver. He obviously raced in Tier 1 throughout the whole of last season and was pretty solid throughout the whole thing. But just for argument's sake, or you know, if he was to end up having an incident with somebody and he's not even in the tier that he's supposed to be in, that would be pretty disastrous. So thank goodness we got that one sorted out.
It could be interesting for J Palm.
yeah, definitely. As it looks like J-Palm is actually in the session right now, so he's popped in to see what's going on. Good to see. He's obviously not racing, but he's the bottom of the list. You can see there on the classification. But that is that for the qualifying session. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's Standard Control taking pole by a resounding margin of 1.6 seconds ahead of Rekos. Rodeo and HR USA has left the session. He's not in for this one. Falgas will line up alongside Quideo on the second row and fourth. Then we've got RWI Racing and Hypersculsa in fifth and sixth. Snooky and Ryan on the fourth row. Xander Flander and the Lazy Camel in ninth and 10th. Then Sub-Zero, Nilsson on the Lolo and Grandad Steve, McGlenn, Anthony Hunt and Evans completing the field for this Tier 2 race here. But Sergey, we've seen a couple of already quite interesting moments. We saw a driver join the wrong tier. We've seen some very, very quick lap times by the new driver, Standard Control. I've got to ask you the question, is there any chance that Standard Control might not win this Tier 2 race?
I don't know. I think he will win it. If only he will have a contact in the first corner or on the first lap.
Yeah.
If only he will be involved in the incident, and if only he will have some damage to his car, maybe only in this case, but I can't see anyone who can.
No, and I'm in the same boat as you, to be honest. I can't see it past him taking a victory tonight. It's going to take something pretty special for any of these guys to take the fight to him. Falgest, I'm impressed to see him up in fourth place. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, great qualification.
Yeah, it really was a solid lap there from Falgest in that one. But I'm not surprised because I know that he's recently moved to a world. He raced on the DualShock 4 Simrig for a number of years actually in sim racing, and he's recently made the transition to the direct drive, so it's good to see that he's getting to grips with it. And he was a regular racer in a lot of our Project Cars 2 leagues back in the day, and now repping a Simrig, an actual proper Simrig on ACC, and he's definitely taken to it very nicely indeed. RWI Racing, also good to have him, currently sat in 5th on the grid, used to race in the Clio Cup on Project Cars 2 as well. Lots of familiar names. Grandad Steve down in 14th, maybe surprising, but then again, he is driving in the Chevy, which isn't the best of cars for this GT4 series. So it'll be interesting to see what Grandad Steve can do from 14th on the grid. I'm sure he'll be making his way back up, and I'm pretty sure he'll be in the top 10. I can't see him not getting the top 10 throughout this race. But let's quickly go through the YouTube comments section here. So we've neglected our audience a little bit tonight. Got lots of comments coming in. We've got JR. Says no team in Tier 2, something to look into. Maybe Joe, I got to get some names for Team Monday JC in Tier 2, that's for sure. Mark Rave says good luck guys, see you on track soon. Good to see Mark Rave popping in. We've got Eric the Viking says go Snooky. Will Freeman says good luck to the Tier 2 drivers. Mark Rave, Janetta is fast on this track, good luck to him on other tracks that obviously relating to Standard Control. Well, to be honest, Mark, his gap in this qualifying session suggests that he's not going to struggle too much once we get to other tracks, because if he's got that much pace in the Janetta around this track, I can't see him struggling too much around other tracks. Maybe Bathurst might be a bit of a kryptonite for him. We'll have to wait and see. Jake Palm says HR USA should be racing later in Tier 1. Yeah, we noticed that one, Jake Palm. Amazing Pie Boy. Hey, yeah, HR USA is having a bit of extra practice. CY,
maybe.
Good luck. Wanted to get an idea of what the track conditions are going to be like later on. We've got CY says good luck, Sander Flander, Lazy Camel, Team ODC. Obviously, Team ODC headed up by the wall.
You forgot to press drive. Okay.
Also in the comments says top 10. Come on, boys.
You'll just start from
Eric the Viking says well done, Snooky. Top 10 position, very nicely done there from Snooky. Dandruff Toasty says good luck and have a safe drive, everyone. Hunty Plays saying this should be fun starting 16. Well, you can only ways up for you, Anthony. Obviously got all the work to do, but you can definitely make places from there. McGlenn hasn't readied up and will be starting from the pit lane. That's a shame, but he should be able to get it going. He will be able to take the start just from the pit lane rather than on the actual formation. Mark Grace says, why are you now streaming in 720p? It's because my internet's not good enough to do OBS in 1080p, Mark, unfortunately. I've got my internet's not bad, but it's not as good as the Only G's, and the Only G unfortunately had to go away on holiday for a couple of days, so I'm taking the reins for the streams, so apologies for that. J-Pom says I've seen lots of people in the chat. Yeah, it does look like it for sure. Miguel Grandon says yeah, there are another voices. Oh, is it? Hold on, really? Oh, let me just jump into a party and amend that one. 1 second. One second. Let me just sort that out. Should be able to get that sorted out in a couple of seconds' time. Apologies for that, ladies and gentlemen. I believe you're picking up the game chat from the game, so just sort that one out. How close are they to coming around to the start, Sergey? Are they nearly there?
I'm in the server now.
Are they close to the start?
What do you mean?
There we go. I'm joining a party so that you can't hear the game chat, but it's taking forever. Oh, it's taking forever. I can't wait any longer.
Yeah, it's a good qualification for Snooki now. He's on P7, as it shows on the time vote.
My PlayStation is just turned off.
Oh, really? So I should commentate now alone.
My PlayStation just turned off. Apologies for this, ladies and gentlemen.
That means that Snooki's up to P6. And Xander Fland is up to P7, Timo C2.
The control's still leading.
Yeah. 2 seconds gap till Quedo.
Sorry about this, guys. We're just loading up in a few moments' time. We should have the stream back. 1 minute. And we'll be back on. There we go.
difficulties in the pits.
Green light, give it all you can.
There we go. Apologies for that, ladies and gentlemen. We are back here at Brands Hatch for the first round of the GT4 season for the Tier 2 standard control. He's got a 3-second lead at the front. He's pulled out a bit of a gap as we expected, was the man to beat in the qualifying session. And since then, there's boss things, but looks like Hype Scholzer holding on just ahead of Falguest, and RWI Racing has jumped both of them up into third place. So RWI's had a really strong opening couple of laps. Xander Flander up into P6, has pulled out a bit of a gap back to Snooki on the low just behind him. There's Grandad Stee up into 9th place. What a great opening couple of laps here for Grandad Stee. He's expecting to make a good start, but he's really wide. Yes, all over the place there down the end of the back straight, and he's got the Lazy Camel, Reckless, Sub-Zero and Nilsson in hot pursuit just behind him. Ryan Ruby also on the back of this pack of cars. Look at that, oh no,
Ryan
Nilsson
Ruby
spins out. Ryan Ruby spins Nilsson out there. Yeah, a bit of contact between those two, not what Nilsson would have wanted, and he's dropped off the back of that pack. He will be falling back into the clutches of Evans. Evans there making position there on Ryan Ruby, and McGlenn 3 seconds behind. Obviously started from the pit lane, did McGlenn, not ideal in the slightest for him. Anthony Hunt has had a horror show at the start to this race though, down in 17th and last place in that McLaren. This has not gone to plan whatsoever for him, but in the meantime standing the control. Has he gone into the pits? That would explain that one, but standard control here is...
the Lazy Camel's in the pit lane, and Sub-Zero is on the pit lane.
Oh, there must be damage on those cars. The Lazy Camel and Sub-Zero have clearly had some kind of incident there on that lap. I don't know exactly what happened to either of those two, but they're having to come in and get that repaired and get it sorted out. In the meantime though, standard control's gap to Prodeo is 4.8 seconds at the front, and RWI Racing is actually closing in a little bit on Prodeo now. It looks like he's almost within a second of
he's a bit close now.
Yeah,
we may see the battle for the second place, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely looks like RWI is reading that gap, and also Hype Scholzer and Falguest not too far behind. Falguest is actually in the back here of Hype Scholzer, only 0.4 of a second separating those two at the last checkpoint. On the low, and Ryan Ruby very, very close as well, half a second separating these two as they're coming through the middle section of the lap right now. But let's stick with this battle 4-second spot, as we can see Prodeo leading this pack of 4 cars. They're coming out of the last corner to complete the 4th lap of the race. Still standard control, bossing things, completely putting a buffer between himself and the rest of them. But Prodeo just keeping RWI around a second behind him at the moment, and Hype Scholzer keeping Falguest very honest behind him as well. So this is currently the 4-car battle for second place. And we expected it to be a battle of best of the rest, didn't we, Sergey, after the qualifying session?
Yeah,
we expected it might be.
Yeah, because the location was really close, and these guys are showing us that they have almost the same pace, even in the race, and it's good to see it. But now RWI Racing just pulled off, and it's 1.6 between him and Prodeo, and Hype Scholzer is closer now. Less than a second separates him and RWI Racing.
Yeah, it's definitely
still on behind these guys, but no battles now.
Yeah, it's a little RWI's little mistake there, as dropped him back into the clutches of Hype Scholzer and Falguest just a little bit at the moment. The rest of the pack a little bit strung out at the moment, not really too many battles going on. It's really this is the main part of the main bit of action here right now, as we can see. That is RWI getting really out wide there, and Hype Scholzer might have an opportunity here to get this move done. They are side by side coming out of the penultimate corner, and I think the Hype Scholzer's got that one done there up into third place. RWI didn't choose to fight that one too hard in the end, and Hype Scholzer's up into third place. Falguest still just behind this, still waiting waiting in the wings, waiting to get involved in that action. But that's a good move there from Hype Scholzer up into third place. I wonder if he's now got the pace to try and chase down Prodeo. Got up ahead of him. In the meantime, McLaren and Nilsson also pretty close. Oh no, somebody's lost it. Is that Evans? Evans is off onto the gravel. McGlenn and Nilsson will both pick up a position there, and that is a bit of a disaster there for Evans, down into 11th place. Looks like it's going all wrong for him. Maybe he's got damage on that car, Sergey, as Evans.
Maybe. And it's a good race for McGlenn. Starting from pit lane, he's now up to P9, and it's not so bad.
Yeah, definitely. He's making progress and recovering.
And we can see there is a big battle for the third place now, and Falgist, I think, is now up to P4, and maybe he will be up to P3.
As you can see outside, oh, here he goes. He's going to have the outside line here. It looks like he's going to try and make it go around Hype Shoulder. Hype Shoulder, though, has got the inside line and covers that one off. And I thought Falgist had an opportunity there. Oh, he gets really loose there. The back end's all over the place. Falgist into the wall, and I think that RWI has sneaked back up the inside of both of them and into third place once again. Oh no, RWI's lost it.
Yeah, another mistake.
No. Into the barriers he goes. These guys are going to have some pretty hefty damage on the front of their cars right now. So that's Hype Shoulder back up into third place, and this has brought Xander Flander into this battle now for third place. That has kind of dropped RWI out of the picture a little bit, but Hype Shoulder, Falgist and Xander Flander all fighting over this final podium spot, and this has left Prodeo in some pretty comfortable breathing space right now. But Xander Flander has gone from 6th to 3rd in a single lap, and I'm sure he will be definitely counting his chickens after that one.
Yeah, he'll try to defend his position, I think. It's a good race for him now, and he'll try to recover this place, this final podium spot. I think that Hype Shoulder now has got some damage to his car, and Falgist too, so maybe Xander Flander may have a pace, and he'll try to extend it.
Oh, Falgist here looking to the outside on Hype Shoulder. Can't get it done. Hype Shoulder has the inside line and continues to take it.
Hype Shoulder's lost it.
Onto the grass there, yeah. Falgist takes the position there up into 4th place, and as Hype Shoulder lost out massively there in the end, looks to covered it quite well. Nuki moves up, yeah, but Hype Shoulder did actually really well there, Sergey, because he got loose on the curve, and I thought he'd fully binned it, but he regathered it together somewhat, and has only lost a couple of places there, so he's lucky in that one. But yeah, that could have been disaster very, very easily for Hype Shoulder. He did well there to recover that one, that is for sure. But Xander Flanders, who man currently sat in 3rd, just ahead of Falgist, leading this 4-car train. Xander Flander, Falgist, Snoopy and Hype Shoulder still continuing to battle it out, and Rekos and RWI not too far apart. Obviously RWI had that big moment a few laps ago, but he's not giving up in this race, still pretty close behind him. Sub-Zero and Ryan Ruby also, you see they're separated by 0.7 of a second on the timing screen just at the moment. But
but they're 2 laps down.
The pressure I think yes, you're right, they are 2 laps down, but they're only 0.7 of a second apart from each other at the moment. But in the meantime, it's still Xander Flander in P3, and he looks like he's actually pulling out a bit of a gap to Falgist right now. Falgist doesn't seem to be able to go with him.
Yeah, I think he has some damage to his car, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. He might have a little bit of...
Oh, and he went a bit wide there.
Yeah, he did.
Chance for
Snooki not able to capitalise. No, he's not able to do anything with it at the moment, but Snooki will definitely be watching that, and he will be, taking solace from the fact that Falgist is making a few mistakes through corners, maybe taking some lines that aren't the ideal lines, which could possibly give Snooki that opportunity to capitalise and move himself up into 4th place. Hype Shoulder in the background of this, continuing to stick to the back of them. Right, just at the moment, you can see the 2 lap cars just behind them of Sub-Zero and Ryan Ruby. These two are going to be fighting it out over 12th place, but Sub-Zero is putting a bit of a gap to Ryan Ruby just at this point here in the race. Xander Flander, though, continuing to gap this mid-pack of Falgist, Snooki and Hype Shoulder, battling over 4th, 5th and 6th places. Looks like Xander Flander's got the pace over these boys right now. Yeah, for sure. He's definitely got that little bit extra on these at the moment, as we can see. Snooki's still really pressuring the back of Falgist right now. Got some comments coming in here on the YouTube screen. The wall says props to Grandad Steve for driving that Camaro the way he is. Camaro.
And he's not in the lobby now. Grant still left the lobby or disconnection.
I didn't see that. I never noticed. Grandad Steve is out of the race. Yeah, you're absolutely right there. Oh, that's disastrous there for Grandad Steve. Was actually doing a really good job in the opening couple of laps, stopping to 8th, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was up to P8. So, from the start. Yeah. From the first lap.
Oh, that is actually really unfortunate there for Grandad Steve. JR saying in the comments, can't wait to see our boys out in Tier 1. It's going to be a colourful grid. Looking forward to seeing what Team Runday GC is bringing out. Sergey, obviously you're racing in Tier 1 tonight, are you? You are racing in Tier 1?
Yeah, I'm racing in Tier 1, yeah.
Any giveaways, any clues on what the liveries are going to be, or is it going to be a nice surprise for us?
It's going to be just our Run DGC color.
Right, okay. standard Team Run DJC liveries. That's good. They always look nice. Team Run DJC know how to design a good livery here. So looking forward to seeing what's out on track. But yeah, we've got the Wolfsense and the Flander doing a great job at the moment in P3 in that final podium spot. C-White
doing a good job.
Yeah, C-White also getting behind Xander Flander as well. Snooki is doing a good job, but he's still sticking to the back of Falguest. But Falguest has pulled out a little bit to him on this lap. The gap, I think, is just over a second now. It was 9 tenths at the previous checkpoint, but it's extended by just a little bit. And Hype Shoulder is still just behind Snooki right now, but Snooki's... Oh no, Snooki! Sorry, Hype Shoulder even.
Hype Shoulder, yeah.
Yeah, he got really wide onto the grass. And that's allowed...
Sub-Zero now.
Sub-Zero. Yeah, Sub-Zero has unlapped himself there on Hype Shoulder. This is going to frustrate Hype Shoulder because he's only losing time behind the back marker here. And is Sub-Zero going to let him straight back past, or is he going to fight this one? He's more than within his rights to fight for this position. Yeah, he is, because he knows that he's got the pace over Hype Shoulder at this point, and he's fully within his rights to go for a move if he thinks that he's quicker. But Hype Shoulder is going to move up the inside here into Druids, and he's going to take that position back on Sub-Zero, and so he can now try and chase back down Falguest and Snooki for that 4th place. But that would have frustrated him a little bit and halted his charge, his battle to try and stay in the top half of this field.
Lost it.
Oh, he's binned it. I think is he disconnected? He must have disconnected there. He looked like he went through the area. Maybe, but
now I can see that he's trying to get back to the track. Oh, his ping is so big now.
Oh, that's unfortunate there for Hype Shoulder, isn't it?
Not over yet.
He'd lost the position. He'd obviously been unlapped by the back marker Sub-Zero, and it just would have frustrated him so much. He got back past him again, but then straight afterwards got a little bit loose onto that curb, and into the barriers he went. Hopefully not too much damage on that AMG, and he can get himself back up and going once again as Falguest there puts a lap on the McLaren of Anthony Hunt.
And Hype Shoulder let AWI Racing and Rex Records pass, so he's now down to P8.
Yeah, he is. So it's all gone horribly wrong for Hype Shoulder tonight in this Tier 2 race. Halfway through, and we haven't spoken about the race leader much, have we, Sergey? Standard control, absolutely bossing things.
Yeah, he's just doing his job. He knows what to do, and he's pulling his gap to all the rest drivers. He's doing a great job, as much as Queda do. So Queda is doing a great job too. They received this 1st and 2nd place, and as we can see that there is a really big there was a really big fight for the 3rd place, but now I think it's a battle for the 4th place, because Xander Flander made a good gap between him and Falguest. It's more than 2 seconds. Yeah, it's 2.5 seconds now, and I think that it can be battle not even for P4, for P5 I think, or even for P6. There are so much back markers here.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's actually quite confusing, isn't it? Seeing all the back markers. It's difficult to know who's on the lead lap and who's fighting for position and who's just putting a lap on somebody, especially because you've got so many quick drivers out of position just due to damage or not making the start or whatever it's been. You've got lots of drivers who should be fighting and who are capable of matching the leaders, who are actually 1 or 2 laps down, which makes it really confusing when you're watching it, because you're seeing back markers unlapping themselves, you're seeing them sticking to the drivers in front of them. It's not like a normal situation in this race. It's definitely a lot of drivers here, there and everywhere right now. So the easiest thing is to look at the timing screens, which are inaccurate on this game as it is. So, you know, it's not much of a help really.
Yeah, timing screens here are not so good in spectator mode, and it's hard to notice who is on the track, who are you watching for. Yeah, definitely. But with one battle that we know is definitely continuing on right now is RWI and Rekos. These two battling over 6th place, and Rekos is actually reeling him in a little bit, continuing to pile that pressure on the BMW in front of him. Rekos driving in that Audi, hunting the RWI down in front of him, 7 tenths of a second between those two as they crossed over the line to start lap 12 of this race. 12 minutes left to go, and these guys are a long way behind the battle for the podium spots. You've obviously got Xander Flander sat in that 3rd spot, 4 seconds ahead of Falguest. He's got 3 seconds back to Snooki, and then this is the battle behind them. These two still continuing to give each other everything they can, but Rekos dropped off of RWI just a little bit coming through that 1st sector. He's, it was a bad 1st sector.
But in the meantime, though, we've also got Anthony Hunt and Sub-Zero separated by 1.2 seconds. This is the battle for 11th place. 3-car battle, and it looks like there's somebody just in front of him. Is that a front? Yeah, that's Snooky there. It's just lapped them. But yeah, these three even continue to have a very exciting battle here for 11th place.
Oh, another Hunt went into the gravel.
Yeah, are they going to seize on that one? I think they has. Yeah,
Sub-Zero is up into 11th place.
Can Ryan follow him through? Anthony's going to cover that one off and park his car on the inside. Can Ryan try and go around the outside, coming in towards the final corner? No, Anthony covers that one off, but he's going to rewind Anthony onto the gravel. Oh no! And that is Ryan Ruby seizing on that one. Did not need his second invitation. He's up into 12th place, and he can follow Sub-Zero through. So Sub-Zero and Ryan up in position. Anthony Hunt losing 2 positions in the space of 2 corners there. That's not really gone to plan at all for him. Can Sub-Zero and Ryan Ruby continue their battle? Now they are just behind Snooky, and actually these two are keeping up with Snooky quite well here. Snooky's lapped them, but isn't leaving them for dead, is he? He's definitely still got these 2 back markers, giving him a little bit of pressure right now, which will probably halt his charge if he's got any hopes of trying to catch back up to Falgas, which although those hopes are quickly diminishing, obviously with Falgas continuing to pull out that gap, and the gap is now 4.5 seconds to him. So this is definitely going to be an interesting fight here for 11th place between Sub-Zero and Ryan Ruby. The rest of the pack really stopping out right now, not really too much going on.
Yep, no battles here. Rex Trackers is dropped out from AWI Racing. For the time being it was less than 1 second, but now it's 1.5 seconds. Maybe Ryan Ruby will try to overtake Sub-Zero for the fight for the 11th place, maybe. But I don't see any other battles here, unfortunately.
No, there's not really a whole lot going on right now. We've got a few comments coming in. DJ Phil says, Andy, go for the win in Tier 1. I don't think I'm going to be racing, mate, unfortunately. I did say that if there were any dropouts for Tier 1, because I raced in Tier 1 last season and did enough to stay up in the league, but then just forgot to sign up for this season. I know it's a bit embarrassing. I forgot to put my name down for GT4. I don't know what I was thinking or what I was doing for the 2 weeks that I had to actually do it, but I completely forgot to do it. I said to the ODG, if anyone drops out of Tier 1, I will happily take the place, but I think every single driver has actually stuck to their word and has decided to race this season from signing up, so there's no openings for me. I will be delighted to join you guys in the commentary box tonight for the duration of this one. I'll be shouting out the action alongside Unorthodox, who will be joining me for the Tier 1 as Sergey will be taken to the track after this one. So obviously I'll be rooting for Sergey, and I will be on the track in spirit. I'll be definitely hoping that Sergey can do the best that he possibly can out on the track.
But I'm really struggling here. I'm really struggling in Brands Hatch on my
Don't say that. Don't say that. I'm banking on you now to take the win.
Thanks, mate.
You know, Sergey, I'm pinning all my hopes on you now. You've got to go and do the business. Don't be talking down or playing down your chances of winning. I've seen you in the Porsche Super Cup, and you're very, very quick. So I have my faith. I have faith that you're going to do well tonight.
Yes, thanks. I'll try. I'll do my best.
Hopefully. Anyway, we're still watching this battle for 11th place right now. We've got Sub-Zero and Ryan Ruby separated by 0.4 of a second, and they're still keeping with Snooky as well. Very, very impressive stuff from these 2 back markers. Got to say, they're not losing touch with the man currently sat in 5th place, and this goes to show how close this GT4 series is and how unfortunate it is that there were incidents in the first couple of laps that dropped a lot of drivers out of contention. Because if we didn't have those incidents, I reckon we would have a very, very tightly packed field at this point.
Yeah, it could be. I've seen that a lot of guys were struggling in the first lap, and a lot of guys were involved into contacts. A lot of guys had damage to their car, and now Ryan Ruby is trying to overtake Sub-Zero.
Yeah, Sub-Zero backed off a little bit there, actually, coming out of turn 3, but it looks like he's going to cover that one off. He goes a little bit deep into the corner, and I think that Ryan Ruby's going to get the cut back on it on the exit out onto the back straight there, still side by side, and it looks like Sub-Zero was a little bit lucky there because he got a nicer sort of exit out of the corner. He was able to set a wider line and carry more speed out onto the back straight, so Ryan unable to capitalise on that one. Saw 0.08 of a second separated as it came over the
so close now.
Yeah, extremely tight racing between these two. They've been going back and forth since the beginning of this race, but at the moment Sub-Zero still holding on for that 11th spot. for now, and this is dropping off the back of Snooki a little bit. Obviously,
and he made a mistake, he went wide.
Oh, no. Yeah, he has, hasn't he? Oh, that's given the place there. Ryan Ruby swoops up the inside up into 11th place. Sub-Zero just making a small mistake there, feeling the pressure a little bit too much, and rode all over the grass there, coming out of the penultimate corner as well, which is not ideal at all for him. Just noticing Anthony Hunt's retired from the race. That's a shame there for him. He was obviously he was battling over 11th place in that McLaren, but a couple of mistakes there. I think he's either disconnected or he's pulled out of the race. That's unfortunate there for him. Oh yeah, he's just said in the comments there he had to retire. His pedals are sticking, so he's had to call it a day early on. Well, not early on. We've only got 5 minutes left to go, but it's a shame there for you, mate, because obviously you made it quite a long way into the race, and it would have been some decent points. But we'll see you next week. Hopefully you'll be able to come back stronger in the next one. Amazing Pie Boy says, unlucky bud, he made some good places back. Yeah, he definitely did. He was making good progress after not the easiest of starts of this race. One man who hasn't had to make any progress because he's been out the front since the beginning, though, is Standard Control. 21 seconds is his gap at the front over Quideo, and continuing to boss things out the front. The battle, well, I say battle, the possibility of a battle for the final podium spot looks like it's withering out a little bit. Xander Flander continuing to eke out that gap to Falguest, now 5.7. And Falguest, actually, you know what? Snooki has gained a bit of time on Falguest over the course of this lap. It's now 4.5 seconds. It was about 5 seconds a couple of laps ago. So I wonder now if Snooki will be able to if Falguest makes a couple more mistakes, then Snooki could be in striking distance there for that 4th place.
Yeah, maybe, but Snooki is under pressure of Ryan Ruby now, and I think that he's concentrating on seeing how not to let Ryan Ruby through, how not to let Ryan Ruby pass, and I don't think that we have a pace.
It's a tricky one, isn't it, for Snooki in this situation, because the thing is he's got a back marker who's a little bit quicker than him at this point, and he clearly wants to get past. But the thing is, Snooki can look at this like one of two ways. He can either use Ryan Ruby as like a barrier, if you like, between himself and if anybody else was there, behind him. But it must be a bit of a heart in mouth time having a back marker who's so quick. And here we go. It looks like he is making a move. Ryan Ruby's going to go for the dive up the inside, coming into turn 4, and looks like Snooki lets him through. Doesn't want to fight him too much. Doesn't want to get involved in that battle. But now Ryan Ruby's got somebody between himself and Sub-Zero, which could help him out in maintaining that 11th place with Sub-Zero on the charge and coming after these two a little bit. But nicely done there from Ryan Ruby, unlapping himself there on Snooki, and he definitely had the pace in this race. Just a shame that he had the problems earlier on. He does, yeah. Look at that back on the inside. And looks like now
Sub-Zero
is going to go up the inside of Ryan as well. Oh my goodness me, they're so close, almost banging doors there as we're still side by side. And is Ryan going to try and hold it around the outside? Sub-Zero's going to have the outside for the penultimate corner, but it looks like Ryan is going to hold on for now. He's going to have to defend that inside line coming up towards the last corner though, because Sub-Zero's got the run on him once again, but no, he's not close enough coming towards the final part of the lap, and Ryan holds on for the time being. But Snooki there taking the positions back. Obviously they unlapped themselves before that, but Snooki's not having any of that, and he's saying, no, you are not going to be unlapping yourself today, boys. I'm in this position for a reason, and you're not having that one easily. But that's Ryan getting really Falguest.
Now his gap to Falguest is more than 7 seconds. I don't think that Snooki will overtake Falguest or even be close to him, if only Falguest will make a mistake.
Yeah, he's halted his progress, hasn't it? It's pretty much just killed any chances that Snooki had of going after Falguest here in this race, that is for sure. 2.5 minutes left to go, so the laps are winding down, the clock is ticking, and Standard Control getting closer and closer to his debut win here at Motive in the Ginetta. What a brilliant job he's done.
2 more laps.
Yeah, 2 more laps to go here for the opening round of the GT4 season for this Tier 2 championship. All they're saying in the comments, it's been a good drive from the Glen, 100%, but he really has made a good comeback drive after having to start from the pit lane. Felt already up at the beginning, but since then it's been the only way it's been up for McGlenn. We've also got Hunty, otherwise known as Anthony Hunt, saying he enjoyed the racing though, but it's unfortunate that his pedal was playing up there. But yeah, this race kind of settling down a little bit now. Standard Control got a lap and a half left to go. The battle's withering out a little bit. Ryan Ruby and Sub-Zero still separated by 1.6 seconds. Falguest has brought the gap down to Xander Flander, down to 4 seconds, but I think it's a little bit too little too late for Falguest to do anything about that and get himself onto the podium. I feel like he's left that charge a day late and a dollar short.
Somebody on the grass.
But,
Strux. Oh, no, it's not Strux. It's another Audi on the
Lolo. Lolo. Yeah. So Lolo having a bit of an excursion there, but Falguest continuing to bring that gap down to Xander Flander, but it's just he hasn't got enough laps. There's not enough time on the clock for him to get himself into that position. Standard Control's gap over Cordeo now 25 seconds at the front. He has blitzed the field tonight. He has not put a foot wrong all evening, and he's most likely going to get the reward for it.
He was about 1 second faster than Cordeo from each lap. It's unbelievable statistic. So we have 30 minutes race and almost 30 seconds gap between them.
He's been in a class of his own, hasn't he, really? And he should be definitely receiving an early call up to Tier 1 as and when a spot does present itself. But this GT4 series is so heavily subscribed. I mean, the drivers really do enjoy these cars, and you understand why when you see the standard of the racing, how close it is, how action-packed these streams are for the GT4s. Everybody wants a piece of it, so it's very unlikely you're going to see many drivers dropping out of the series. So he might find it difficult to get that early call up, which he probably deserves. And I'm sure the other drivers in this Tier 2 championship are going to be hoping also that he gets that call up. But Standard Control in towards the final half of lap goes a little bit wide there, and that's going to affect him a whole lot. Driving in that number 32 Ginetta, took pole position in the qualifying session by 1.6 seconds, did a lap time in qualifying, which was only a tenth of a second off of last season's pole sitter for the Tier 1's Javierranz. So he's definitely a man who's capable of taking the fight to the Tier 1 boys. In towards the final corner here at Brands Hatch. He's going to convert this pole position into a win. I'm sure he's got the fastest lap as well. He's led every single lap of this race, Standard Control. It's going to be a grand shalom for him in his debut. Fantastic drive tonight in that Ginetta. Standard Control is your winner, takes the checkered flag and wins the Open for the GT4 season here at Motive Racing. Cordeo a long way behind, but Standard Control, he's been all about him tonight. He has just done absolutely everything that could have been asked of him, and hats off, really good performance.
Yeah, it was an unbelievable race from him, but I think that he was in his own league. Yeah, he just didn't found any fights between him and other guys. He just pulled off from all and others since the first lap and just was doing his laps consistently.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he? Just getting on with it, getting his head down and doing the business. Sander came over in second place. Xander Flander finishes in third. Falguest comes over the line there. 4th place finish for him. Flashing of the lights there. He's pretty happy with those points, I'm sure. We've got Snooky. Has he run out of fuel? Oh, Sergey, Snooky's run out of fuel. No way. Oh no, he's about 200 meters from the line and he's run out of fuel. That has got to be one of the most heartbreaking feelings you can ever get. That horrible sinking feeling when the car just bogs down and there's nowhere you're going to go. He might be classified. He'll be classified in 9th place because he was on the lead lap. Classified in 8th even, ahead of McLaren. But it's not going to be all doom and gloom. But he loses 3 places there. RWI finishes in 5th. Rekos 6th. Snooky will finish in 8th behind Pipe Shoulder, who comes over the line to take 7th place. And that is all she wrote then for the Tier 2s. Standard Control going to be my driver of the day for the Tier 2, Sergey. I cannot look past him.
I think that for me, driver of the day is Xander Flander. It's the first Team ODC podium here in Motive Racing. I think
big shout out to him. Absolutely, the wall head of Team ODC is going to be absolutely chuffed to see Xander Flander up there on that podium spot. Really well done to him in that BMW. But that is that then, ladies and gentlemen, for the Tier 2s. And don't go anywhere because we'll be back very shortly for the Tier 1s coming up just after 8 o'clock, 8:05. We should be on for qualifying. So stick around, we will be back in a few mere moments' time.
Hit it. Went into the pits with a
rear axle like at an angle, come back out, and I was a lap down. And I was like, do I just give up? I was like, and I was battling sub from about 20 minutes in the whole way, and it was beautiful. Yeah.
Snooky joined the commentators booth, the waiting for interview. If anybody wants to join the interview room, then jump in the interview waiting list. We'll get you in during the practice session for the tier ones. If anybody wants to jump in.
Green light. Go, go, go. green light, go, go, go.
sure there's no voices in the background. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Motive Racing. We are back here with the GT4s. Andy and Sergey did a fantastic job in the Tier 2s. I'm back once again for the GT4s. Joining me in the commentary box once again is Andy, and sadly, Andy, you're not able to race this evening. Hopefully, later on in the season, you will be able to get yourself back into this championship. Forgot to sign up, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm still sat in the commentary box. It's good to be here, actually, Dan. It's been an interesting night of racing so far, but yeah, I completely forgot to put my name down for the GT4s this season. It just escaped me to even think to sign up for any championships this year. So yourself and G had to put me down for POs and touring cars because I don't know what was going on in my head, but yeah, forgot to sign myself up. So, but I'm more than happy to be in the commentary box tonight. And to be honest, in a funny sort of way, I prefer commentating to racing. So, yeah, it should be an interesting night we've got ahead of us. 20 cars out on the field. Let's hope that all 20 of them are able to make it to the end and get to the checkered flag. But yeah, we've got a lot of familiar faces and a couple of newbies out on track tonight, so it's going to be extremely exciting indeed. And we're obviously missing last season's reigning champion, Javierranz. He's moved to the PC platform for this season.
That's what I was about to get on to. We have new drivers, new faces, and possibly new cars as well. New liveries, new setups, new everything. And also we could have a new champion. Well, when I say we could, we most definitely will. Sadly, Javier, who won last season in the GT4s, has decided he wants to race in the GT3s on the PC. So we'll see how he will get on in there. But that means it is open up to anyone in these GT4s. And last season we had an awesome season with all of these cars, all these drivers battling out to the end. Javier, the only man to win every single race, but hopefully this season it won't be the same. Well, I say he won every single race. He actually disconnected from one, and the only G took that one. But we have a massive group of drivers here this evening, all familiar faces, all familiar names, and also new ones as well. We've got the likes of Guy, HR USA. Sergey was in the commentary box earlier on. We've got Red Bull Energy coming back and giving it a go. Thomas Menger's back. Kenny is back. The Wall. Bring on the Wall is back once again in the GT4s. Marty Road Racing as well. Grula's back. Amazing Pie Boy Freeman. Kodalunga. Winzo, Cheese Monkey, and Normac as well. But we have got some new drivers as well. We've got P Mitch
out there. Sergey also is a new driver to the GT4s as well, because last season he wasn't racing in the GT4s, regular in the Porsche Super Cup, Rainmaster as well. So if it rains, you can pretty much bet on Sergey being up there or thereabouts in any races. Also with
F1
yeah, Mr. CJ, also new to the GT4s. A lot of the drivers who are new have raced in other series on ACC. So the guys who excel in the other series that we've got, like Porsche Super Cup and GT3s, have been given a fast track to the Tier 1 championship for the GT4s this season. They're new to the championship, but they've been given that bye, if you like, just due to their pedigree in other series. So yeah, guys like Mr. CJ, also P Mitch as well, they've been thrown straight into the big boy league. Sergey likewise. So yeah, we know what these guys can do. Have they got the talent in these GT4s like they have in the other series, like Sergey in the GT3s and the Porsche Super Cup, for example? It's going to be interesting. But one man who's setting the pace right now is Mark Grave. We know he's got plenty of speed in these GT4s. He was always up there or thereabouts, wasn't he, in last season's championship? But unfortunately for him,
he kind of had a weird season last season. He definitely started things off really strong. As we started the season off last season at Imola and put it on pole position. I think the only time he took pole position and was looking really strong, my favourite to win the race, and he just made a slight error, and that allowed him to come to the pits and repair the damage, and that's how Javier started his reign of terror. But no, I'm definitely looking for Mark Ray to be strong this season. Freeman obviously will be up there as well. Red Bull Energy started off the season in his trusted McLaren, but this season he's picked someone else. I do not.
What is that? What is that? I don't even know. What? I'm trying to work out what car that is. Is that?
I think that's a KTM, isn't it?
KTM. It's the crossbow. Yes. Yes, it is. I just realised, yeah. So I haven't even seen. You know what? The Wall has also got opted for the KTM as well. The only 2 KTMs in the field. I don't believe a single driver went for the KTM last season. So hence our confusion initially when seeing that logo and that particular car. It's a funny shaped car, isn't it? It looks a bit like a bow and arrow. But
no, it's definitely a very futuristic looking car. Another man we need to keep an eye out for as well is the HR USA, last season's runner-up. He's definitely a man to keep an eye on, not just obviously for a race win, but obviously with consistency. Emo Guy is another one. If his internet will be strong enough and reliable enough to hang in there. He had a couple of good rounds. Zanform is definitely one that sprung to my mind. So Emo Guy is definitely another man to keep an eye on as well.
The thing with Emo Guy that we've got to watch out for is making sure that he's got his phone on charge before he starts the races, because if you didn't already know, Emo Guy does actually connect to PlayStation using his 4G from his phone. Unfortunately for him, he disconnected from the race at Kyle Army last season. He was leading the race and he disconnected due to his phone actually running out of charge. But Emo Guy, if you're listening to the stream tonight, make sure that you've got your phone plugged in, mate, because we don't want to be seeing any disconnections due to your phone switching off midway through. That would be disastrous for you, that is for sure. So just make sure you got that thing plugged in before we get going.
Yeah, definitely so. And we will see how he gets on later on this evening. A night race as well here at Brands Hatch, a classic British circuit, Brands Hatch. And to be honest, Andy, in my opinion, Brands Hatch has never been one of my favourite. I've always seemed to struggle here, no matter what discipline, whether it's open wheel, touring cars, GTs. I never ever seem to hook up here at Brands Hatch. But I know majority of the cars out on track now absolutely love this circuit, and once you do get it hooked up here, it definitely pays off when you get a good lap time.
Yeah, it's one of the tracks where the Ginetta does actually excel, and generally on the higher power circuits the Ginetta does struggle, especially around tracks like Bathurst. So this is the place where those driving in the Ginettas will want to make the most of it. We saw in the first race standard, in the tier 2s earlier on, Standard Control took a very dominant win, mainly down to, I think that's more down to driver than the car, but Cheese Monkey and the Ginetta will be hoping to make the most of it tonight. Emo Guy drove in the Ginetta last season, has opted for the Merc this time around. The Merc we saw being driven so supremely last season by Javierranz, taking, as you said earlier on, 7 out of the 8 wins for the season. But then again, more down to the car than the driver. But it's definitely going to be a case of who can extract the best out of the cars. The cars, though, quite even around this track. I would say there is no particular car that is heads and shoulders above the rest. If anything, I'd say it's probably between the Merc and the Ginetta, but it's going to be close between all of the manufacturers. BMWs, you see, only a tenth of a second off in the shape of Will Freeman. Mark Rave, only 2/10 off of Freeman. So Merc, BMWs, Ginettas do seem to be the car of choice at the moment, but it's going to be wide open, that is for sure. I know that the Audi's not too bad around here either. Sergey's currently sat in 8th place, and there's plenty. It's a wide open category, isn't it? The GT4s, it doesn't really matter which particular car you're in. You generally it's quite an evenly matched class, and you see
just as you say that. The top 10 is only separated by 9/10. This is how tight the GT4 category is. And it's not like we're racing on a small circuit either. If we were doing the Brands Hatch Indy, then I'd be more like, okay, that's quite a big gap from the top 10. But we are on the GP loop, and it's very tight, these GT4s. Me and Benji thoroughly enjoyed last season commentating on these. And other than Javier going out and destroying nearly much every race, there's action all up and down the grid, no matter where you look, from the back of the pack all the way to the front. There was action all the time, and it was great to watch and great to be a spectator of. And sadly, I won't have Benji as much this season, but I believe we might have Javier in every now and then, dropping in and doing a bit of commentary if Andy can get himself back into the championship. But we will see how things pan out. But at the minute, Freeman is currently on pole position in the Mercedes, switching from the Audi to the Mercedes, and he's looking good so far, with Will Freeman in second place at the minute, and Mark Ray carrying on where he left us this season is third. The man I want to keep an eye on for this season is Cheese Monkey. He looked very good last season in this Ginetta. He had a bit of bad luck. He's not a top qualifier, but he's so good in the race. He can make those moves and make those positions when he needs to, and he's only 2/10 off the fastest lap at the minute from Freeman.
one driver that I'm definitely looking out for this season, Dan, is going to be Emo Guy, because in the Ginetta last season he was extremely strong around the tracks that you would expect the Ginetta to be good at, like Kyle Army and Dan Vort, you know, the more twisty, less straight line speed orientated circuits, and he's just improved his lap time there. He's now down to 2/10 off for the fastest. He's improved his lap by 2/10 there, driving in the AMG. So for me, I reckon Emo Guy is going to be a dark horse for these GT4s. Freeman and Will Freeman, we know that they're going to be up there, and also Mark Grave as well. He's got the pedigree. He, as you said last season, started the season so strongly, but he's currently 600ths of a second off of Freeman's fastest time right now. Just come in and put it provisionally on the front row, so he's really on it at the moment. Sergey is currently sat in 8th in the Audi. It's not the fastest of cars in this category, but it's no slouch, as we see HR USA improve his lap, not by enough to move up the order. But Sergey's also going to be one who I'm sure will improve as the season goes on. I know that he races in quite a few categories, so he might have a lot of a lot to balance out in terms of his practice time. But yes, Sergey Zeynalov's one man who I know will definitely improve and get quicker and quicker as the season goes on. Red Bull Energy used to race in the GT3s on a Sunday night, and that KTM is not going to be easy, but he's getting some decent times out of it at the moment. Currently sat in P6. Amazing Pie Boy is currently sat in the pits. He's chosen to drive the Aston this season. He's currently down 2.1 seconds off for that fastest time. The Wall in the other KTM, currently down in P20 at the moment, but the Wall is a man who we know, Danny, always goes better in the races than qualifying. He tends to make his way through the pack as the race goes on, as we just see Sergey there moving up into P4. Look at that, only 2/10 off of Freeman's fastest time. Sergey's on it at the moment in that Audi.
Yeah, he's definitely hooked it up. And one other thing that I've got to spot with Sergey's Audi is that lovely number on the side of it. That number looks familiar to me. My lucky number 16.
Yeah, I seem to remember that Dan uses that number in pretty much every single series on Project Cars 2. Clios, LMP2s. Which series is the number 16 not available in? It's
sadly I'm not running the 16 in the Astra this season. So
yeah, of course. That's not possible, unfortunately, for the Astra. But yeah, due to the Megane being banned for the Sunday night championship for the touring cars, which is really needed, to be fair, because the Megane's just OP as anything in that series. But yeah, definitely, we know that Dan, you're going to be very much rooting for Sergey tonight, driving that number 16. For sure.
Possibly. We're now coming down to the last minute of the session, and still Freeman is the fastest man. No one seems to be getting close, other than Mark Ray, who only seems to be 600 at the minute. A couple of comments coming in at the minute. J Palm saying, good to see a full grid in the season start. No Alpines, unfortunately, but I will be supporting the KTMs 100%. Freeman is very good at Brands Hatch, and I think he will win. Standard Control, I believe, who took the race win in the Tier 2s. It's quite hard here to get a lap that's on the limit. So many places to go off track and very narrow. We're all doing well today too. So J Palm really supporting all these GT4 guys, and J Palm in the Alpine was definitely an interesting choice last season, as it doesn't seem to be the favoured car, but at the minute the Mercedes of Freeman looks to be taking pole position. Guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you like what you see, then please head over to motivracing.com, sign up to get involved. We've still got many places open for tier 2s in many categories, like the Clios, the touring cars, and many other categories as well. So if you think you could do better than these guys on track, then please head over and sign up. If you want to be a part of the team as well, we've got many areas of expertise that you could get involved in, as commentators, stewards, lead coordinators, all sorts of different varieties of ways to help out here at Motive Racing. And a massive thank you also to our Patreons who always support us here at Motive Racing. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be able to have all these amazing lobbies here at ACC, the Porsche Super Cup, the GT4s and the GT5s, and now the GT3s the GT3, and then the GT3s onto PC. So massive thank you to all of them. But Andy, qualifying has come to an end. Freeman's on pole position. Mark's in the pit.
Yeah.
The only man I think can get near him is Will when he's exiting the final corner.
Let's see what Will can do here. He's coming into the final part of the lap now. Can he find 0.2 of a second and get pole? No, he can't. No. It's not enough. Cheese Monkey, though, in the Ginetta could be on for a good lap here, Dan. He's been just chipping away.
Codalunga's exiting the final corner in 14th at the minute, replaced from the Audi to the Mercedes. A lot of guys going from the Audi to the Mercedes. A lot of swap changes. And he will stay in 14th. Cheese Monkey, 2 tenths off. He will get a little bit of a slipstream from the car in front, but he's
backed out
to a stop.
Oh,
Kenny,
no.
the only man left on track. What can he do? The Wall's new teammate, and I think the Wall's got plenty of teammates in there, and I think Kenny is peeling into the pit. So that is it, guys. That is your qualifying session done. Freeman will take the first pole position of the season here at Brands Hatch, with Mark Raid in second and Will in third. Sergey will start fourth, Cheese Monkey in fifth, Rebel Energy in sixth, Emo Guy seventh, HR USA in eighth, P Mitch in ninth, F1 RC in 10th, Marty Road Racing in 11th, 12th Thomas Menga, 13th Rula, 14th Conalunga, 15th MB in Normac, 16th Windsor, Amazing Pie Boy in 17th, The Wall in 18th, Kenny 19th, and oh god, how do you pronounce that last name? C Mellish,
I believe. Yeah, it must be Mellish. That's always how I imagined it.
Yeah, that's how I
in the Porsche Supercar. C Mellish. Yeah.
He rounds off our top 20 here, and we're about to get underway for the first race of the season here at Brands Hatch. Guys, get your comments in, get who you think will take the race win, and then later on this evening as well, we want to know your driver of the day. Andy, we do this every time in any category, in every championship. Prediction, race win.
Race win, I'm going to put my money on Sergey. I don't know why I get this hunch, this kind of inkling, but I just feel like Sergey might be able to really take the fight to Freeman and Mark Rave tonight. Will Freeman, I think, will be on the podium. I can't see him being knocked out of the top three. He's always up there. But I don't know why. I'm just going to go for Sergey tonight. What about you, Dan?
I'm feeling strong about Cheese Monkey, but if I'm honest, if I was going to back someone tonight, I reckon Mark Rave has got a little bit of demons that he wants to clear, and I think he will start the season off with a strong start and take a race win. Guys, let's get your predictions as well. The Greek in the comments says, "Here comes the Wall. Let's go the Wall." And you didn't quite say it right. It's bring on the Wall.
Bring on the Wall.
We'll see how the Wall gets on in 18th place. He's a massive supporter here at Motor Racing. Does amazing stuff. He's here at every single stream. He posts every single thing about Motor Racing, and we are a massive fan of his work, and we love everything he does, and it's great to have him here. And obviously the same with everyone else
tonight as well. Best of luck to those guys. It's hopefully they can do a great job on track, because they definitely bring a lot of, all the teams here at Motive bring a much needed bit of camaraderie and atmosphere towards the community. So all of these teams that we have, they're all competing to be the best, but also to enjoy what they're doing here is really appreciated. So big props to the Wall and all of his team members for that. Also Team Run DJC, and obviously you've got Team Prolapse and Pink Panthers as well. So we love the team, we love the rivalries, and all of it makes the racing so much more exciting. It adds an extra kind of dimension to what's going on, so it's not just all about one driver against the other or so on and so forth. But here we go, 1 minute left to go until the start for the tier 1s here for the GT4s this season. We're going to have a new champion of this series, we know that for certain. Who is it going to be though? We'll be finding out. We'll be getting a much better idea of who it's going to be in an hour's time. But Freeman taking the pole position there by 0.3 of a second, which is actually quite a big margin when you think about it. Well, no, it wasn't 0.3. I think actually Mark Ray got closer to him. It was about 700ths in the end.
Yeah, but 600. So you got
600. Yeah, he did get quite close at the end, so it's not as. But it's so tight at the top of the order. It's completely different to what we saw last season when Javierranz was blitzing everybody by half a second to a second in every session. But here we go, cars coming off the tracks now, about to start this formation lap. We're going to do one formation lap before the start of this race. Everybody will have to get their tyres up to temperature and get themselves geared up for what's going to be a very exciting race, 1 hour endurance race. You do have to keep your wits about you over the course of a whole hour out on the track. It's not easy. It's not the same as doing a 24-hour race like yourself and myself did, Dan, back at the start of this last month. But
don't talk about me about that, Jesus.
Having said that though, I couldn't do that on this game. I couldn't do 4 hours on this game. Project Cars 2, different story, but doing that on ACC, I think you'd definitely have limbs falling off by the end of that. But guys just coming in to Druids on this formation lap, and 20 cars out on the field. Let's hope that all 20 of these drivers do make it to the end of the race. It'd be great to see 20 cars make it to the checkered flag. I believe it was Brands Hatch last season, wasn't it, where we had the first ever race where I think all 20 cars finished, wasn't it? I think it was here.
Last season.
Yeah, so it's always good to see everybody sticking with it and keeping going regardless of incidents or damage or anything, you know, going on untoward with the car. It's good to see all the drivers just keeping going, plugging away and continuing on until the bitter end. But
we got a couple more comments coming in. Standard Control saying high percentage of a race win from pole position here, so he reckons that the pole man or Freeman will probably take the race win. The lazy camel, I'm guessing that is camel.
I think so. Yeah, I believe it.
ODC, B-Mitch to P-Mitch for the race win. That's an interesting choice of driver, but we'll see how he gets on his debut of the GT4s. Andy says these guys are doing their formation lap and a night race. Yeah, camel. I'm dyslexic. I apologise to anyone if I mispronounce their name, read it wrong, or read messages wrong. I am trying my best, but to me they just look like shapes. So we're getting around to the end of the circuit. Night race as well, Andy. Does the night affect you to other drivers? Sometimes you catch your concentration out.
Yeah, it can definitely affect your concentration, but if you're very much focused and with it can actually be an advantage, because for some reason these GT4 cars are faster at night. I don't quite know why, but I know for a fact they are because I raced them last season, and once you get to the nighttime sessions, because the practice sessions usually in the day, once you get to the qualifying and the race, which J-Palm generally tends to set at night, you find the cars are so much quicker, and I don't quite know why that is, but it just is. So as long as you don't let the darkness kind of phase you or distract you in any way, it can actually be an advantage to race at night. Having said that, they're all in the same boat, so it's not really an advantage, but you know what I mean. It's kind of it's faster, definitely faster.
We're about to get underway here at Brands Hatch, the first race of the season, the first chance to make a good start, and we're about to get underway towards the line. Here we go. And who will take the first win of the season? And we are green here at Brands Hatch.
Go, go, go.
As we go into turn one, Freeman by the looks of things still leads. Oh, as he makes contact.
Oh no!
Freeman! The race
Straight
leaders
away!
make contact. That's going to allow
my
Will
goodness.
down the outside and Cheese Monkey as well, looking to the inside of Freeman. They have probably got damage to the front of their cars, but Will, around the outside of turn two, will take the race lead. There's more chaos. Red Bull Energy has been spun round. A couple others getting caught up in the back there. Oh, there's all sorts of chaos.
That was unbelievable. What a start there. I think Mark Ray was going to be cursing his luck there at the beginning. Oh no, somebody spun out there, coming out of Druids up towards turn three. Oh my goodness, everybody seems to be going off right now. And he's already starting to make his way back through his Mark Ray. He's already back into the middle of the pack, but it's Will Friedman who leads this race now, ahead of Freeman at the front. Great start there from Will Friedman. We got Sergey running just behind. He's in third place with Cheese Monkey, HR USA, Emo Guy running in sixth place right now. Dan, you lagged a little bit from me on the Discord call. Are you with me, bud?
Yeah, I'm still there.
I'm not quite sure if it's me or Dan that's lagging out a little bit there. But it's currently Will Friedman who has the lead of this race by 0.6 of a second over Freeman at the front, and Sergey's got himself on to third as well. There's Cheese Monkey, HR USA, Emo Guy running pretty close behind these right now. There's a big pack of cars here at the front, but Mark Rave will be absolutely fuming with the way that start went. He looked like he had the move done around the outside, but he got tagged a little bit there. Unfortunately for him, he's down in 12th place here at the very beginning of this race. Not the start that he would have been hoping for, that is for sure. Will leads the first lap. He's got a second at the front over Freeman. There's Sergey to behind from Cheese Monkey, HR USA. Emo Guy's pulled up onto the back of HR USA a little bit here in this battle at the front, but Will continues to lead into Druids here ahead of Freeman, Sergey and Cheese Monkey right now. I'm not quite sure if it's me or if it's Dan that's cut out here. Dan, you can hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear me? No? Okay, maybe not. I'm guessing must be Andy, but if anyone can hear me, Freeman currently trying to bring that gap down to Will at this precise moment. Sergey looking very good in that Audi, but Cheese Monkey in that Ginetta is trying to hunt him down as quickly as he possibly can. But they go into the quick section of the circuit. Cheese Monkey still trying to bring that gap down as best as he possibly can. I'm guessing Andy can hear me because he seems to be changing cameras as I speak.
Yeah, we're here back again. I don't know what was going on there. I think I was commentating for the whole first lap, and I don't know if you were, but I couldn't hear you throughout the whole first lap, so I'm not sure what was going on there.
I got all the way to the hairpin, and then next thing you know, you're carrying on, and then I just kept quiet for a minute.
Fair enough. Well, it looks like our latency issues have been sorted out, so thank goodness for that. Will looks like he's trying to break away a little bit at the front, ahead of Freeman. Got a second of a gap right now. Sergey's still keeping tabs with these two at the moment. HRUSA is dropping off for the lead four a little bit, but Cheese Monkey and Aginetta's doing a really good job so far, isn't he? Keeping it with these guys at the front.
Yeah, definitely so. And I'm just keeping an eye on Mark Ray right now, seeing his move towards the front. He's now up into 10th place. He is trying to get back up into a decent position. Amazing.
Rebel Energy's off at Paddock Hill. He goes onto the gravel there. He's trying to make the move on C. Melistan, and he's got all over the place. Gets it back onto the track. He's lost a couple of places there. Marty and Kodolungu move up, and also Kodolungu's having a little look on Marty coming into Druids, but has to think better at that one. He's not going to get the move done up the inside, up into 14th place, but not really the situation that Rebel Energy would have wanted here in his comeback. Mark Ray's made up another place, up into 10th ahead of Grulo though, and is a second and a half behind Normac right now, as Will continues to pull out the gap here ahead of Freeman. 1.4 seconds he's got ahead of him right now.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm currently watching HRUSA and Emo Guy and Mitch at the minute. These three quite close to each other. Emo Guy trying to put the runner-up from last season under massive pressure right now and trying to find a way past him if he can. Amazing Pie Boy in that Aston Martin, near enough at the back of the pack, has had a fantastic start and has now got himself up into that 8th place position due to all the chaos that was going on in the first lap. But it's all strung out a little bit in some places. There's some close fights. It looks like Sergey is really trying to get onto the back of Freeman right now. Freeman, with the damage probably to the front of his car, we're making contact with Mark Ray. He might be struggling a little bit, and Will is now extending that gap. So Freeman at the minute not looking good.
No, not just at the moment. It's kind of, since getting pole position, Will has just stormed past both of them. Obviously Mark Ray had that got put down to the back of the pack after that contact there with Freeman, and I wonder if he might have a bit of damage after that contact with Mark into turn one, maybe first lap. It could have just knocked a little bit off of the front of the car, which is maybe preventing his ability to keep up with Will. But Sergey's not really making too much of an impression on Freeman. He's not looking like he's ready to make a move on him. So maybe it's just that Will is coping really, really well with these heavy fuel loads and has practiced race trim a little bit. Maybe he's very confident with a heavy tank.
Mark right now is definitely doesn't look like he's got much damage to the rear of that BMW, because he is now right onto the back of Normac as they go into the GP section. He is absolutely flying right now and is trying to regain as many positions as we can. We will keep an eye on Mark's recovery, but right now he is right onto the back of Normac in that McLaren and is looking to try and make a move past if he can. Remember guys, this is an hour-long session for these guys, so there's still plenty of time for them to come back, but also they have got a mandatory pit stop to do. You see the one by their names, that means they have a pit stop that they need to serve, and once that turns green, that means they have served their pit stop, but they have to fill at least 1 litre of fuel in the cars. Mark looks to the inside of Normac, and I think he might got the job done. Normac runs wide, and that's job done. Up into a place.
Also, while you mentioned talking about that, Dan, and I saw Rebel Energy move up the inside of Kodolungu up into 13th place, and he's on the back of Marty Road Racing in this fight for 12. So it looks like he's now trying to make progress here in this race. He's obviously had a bad start to the lap a couple of laps ago, where he went wide onto gravel at Paddock Hill, but he's trying to get some moves done here on Martin Road Racing. But Mark Wave a couple of seconds off the back, amazing Pie Boy, so that'll be Mark's next target in terms of his comeback here in this race. Freeman though has really got Sergey all up his chuff at the moment. It's 0.4 of a second separating these two, and actually Freeman and Sergey have both reeled in Will a little bit over the course of that lap. 1.7 seconds now behind the race leader. So after pulling out that gap at the start, Will is now being reeled in just a little bit by these two, bit by bit.
Yeah, I'm just watching the action further down.
Emo guys also 0.8 off of HRUSA as well. This the battle for 5th place. Emo guy looks like he's pretty close, goes a bit wide there, almost onto the grass. He's pressed to stay in striking distance there. These two have pulled out a bit of a gap to P Mitch, 2.7 seconds behind these two, as Red Bull Energy is now all over the back of Marty Road Racing in this battle for 11th place. 2 tenths separating them. Red Bull Energy almost underneath that car there as he's trying to find a way through, coming through this section of the track. He's definitely going reasonably quickly in that KTM is Red Bull Energy, but the start of this race just hasn't really gone to plan for him. And he's being in the position that he's in. He would have hoped to have been up there fighting based on his qualifying position. Sergey's got past Freeman down. Yeah, he has. Look at that. Look at that. He must have made the move coming out of the last corner. So Sergey Zeynalov has made that move. Both of them have lost a bit of time to Will over the course of this lap. Although have they? Because is that Will? What's happened to Will?
I think he went wide.
Will must have gone wide.
I think he went wide at turn 1, and that's allowed Sergey to get a little bit closer. Freeman as well is sticking to the back of him. The Cheese Monkey is right onto the back of these three as well. In that Jeanette, I did say to keep an eye on him, and he is looking good and strong at this precise minute as we come into the first 10 minutes of the session. And there's all sorts of fights going on as well. Red Bull Energy is still trying to find a way past Marty Road Racing. He's got Thomas Menger as well onto the back of Kenny at near the back for 16th to 17th place. So there's fights up and down the grid all over. No matter where you look, there's a fight going on as Cheese Monkey still is looking to try and find a way past Freeman if he possibly can.
Yeah, he's looking everywhere, isn't he? In a moment, 4 tenths separating these two. Freeman will want to try and stop the rot and avoid losing 2 positions in the space of a lap because Sergey got past him coming through the last corner on that previous lap there. So it's really about Freeman just getting himself back together. Having said that, he's not really in too bad of a position because these three, Sergey, Freeman and Cheese Monkey, are all gaining on the race leader Will. So this is going to very quickly become a 4-way battle for the lead if these 4 keep themselves together and don't make any mistakes. They're gapping HR USA and Emo Guy. And in fact, Emo Guy has just dropped off of HR USA a little bit now. It's now almost a second between the two of them. So HR USA has clearly responded to that pressure from Emo Guy. And this is the battle 4th, 5th and 6th just at the moment. Amazing Pie Boy's got Mark Wade looking to his inside though, coming out onto the start-finish straight. They're side by side here, coming over the line. Is Mark going to think of a move going into Paddock Hill? I think he is, this is going to be the move for Mark. Yep, he's done that one pretty nicely. Tags that curb right over the grass a little bit, but he's up into 8th place, and that's another position made up there for Mark Grave.
Yeah, he did have a little bit of a moment where Mason Pieboy hadn't looked down the inside at the hairpin, but it looked like Pieboy decided better of it and just to sit behind Mark. Now Mark can try and focus on bringing that gap down to P Mitch right now is the next man that he's got in his sights, and then we're going to be starting into the really difficult stage of Emo Guy, HR USA, Cheese Monkey, Freeman, Sergey, and then Will as well, who's leading this race at this precise moment. There's all sorts of great fights going on at the back. Thomas Menger, Kenny and the Wall, all these guys having a great fight with Grulak, all these guys battling it out for 15th, 16th, 17th and 18th place. There's fights up and down the grid no matter where you look, and sooner or later we will be coming to the pit window. JR Sim Racing saying Sergey was let through by Freeman's slow puncher by the sound of things.
But no, I will explain why Freeman's dropping off of Will a little bit, because he was on pole in the qualifying. I thought it might have been down to the contact with Mark at turn 1, where Mark sort of came across a little bit and went round, but presumably it's a different issue, like a slow puncture, as JR said, for Freeman. But Sergey's fallen off the back of Will a little bit. Will's now built that gap back up again after he made that mistake a few laps ago. 2.5 seconds now separate Will, the race leader, and Sergey, and Freeman's not too far in front of Cheese Monkey as well. He could face pressure from Cheese Monkey in a few moments' time. HR USA and Emo Guy still separated by 4 tenths. They're kind of just keeping the gap to the lead pack right now. They're not really falling off, not really making any gains either. It looks like it's just staying as it is between those. Amazing Pie Boy sticking to the back of Mark Grave. Oh, as I say that, it gets really loose onto the curb though, but big shout out to Amazing Pie Boy. Mark Grave is not driving off into the distance here in this battle for 8th place. Also, Red Bull Energy still on the back of Marty Road Racing. He's got to be getting a bit frustrated behind Marty. He's been behind it for a number of laps now and just hasn't been able to find a way through. It just doesn't look like he's got enough
he does.
speed. Although having said that, here we go. Goes up the inside and he gets that one done very nicely. About time.
It's finally time for Red Bull Energy to use that power of the KTM, probably more the chassis and the downforce of anything, and try
the wall up the inside of Kenny. The Wolf's making a move up the inside of Kerry. Sorry, down there. Coming through turn 4. And I think that he's going to get followed through there by Thomas Menger. No, in the end, Thomas Menger tucks in behind, but a great move there by the Wall up into 15th place. Dived up the inside, timed his braking to perfection. And Kenny's down to 16th place in that little exchange.
Brilliant stuff there. The Wall and now had a bit more experience in these GT4s, is starting to show his experience now and trying to come through the pack. Kenny in that Porsche, probably allowing his teammate through. He looks like he has more pace than the Wall, so he's allowing him just to go so he can catch up to the McLaren that's just ahead at this moment. Freeman is now caught onto the back of Sergey. Sergey is dropped well off the back of Will right now, and Emo Guy is still hustling the back of HR USA. HR USA doing a great job to keep Emo Guy behind at this precise moment. But interesting to see Emo Guy going for the Mercedes this season. He's ditching the Ginetta. He did like the Ginetta very, very much, but he's in the Mercedes for this season, and at the minute he's giving HR USA a lot of pressure. He's down the inside, but he won't get the run on HR USA, and we'll just have to sit in the slipstream a little bit longer.
Yeah, he's going to have to just wait for his moment here. But crucially, these two are still not dropping off of the back of the lead pack too much. They're only 2.5 seconds behind Cheese Monkey at this point, so it's definitely on the cards for these two. As long as they don't trip over each other too much and start hustling each other, they will be able to catch up or just stay in striking distance of the lead pack when the pit window comes through. But yeah, Emo Guy just needs to be patient here, because HR USA has got enough pace to keep the gap. Oh, as he goes wide there, HR USA's lost it. Is he going to come off the track into Emo Guy? No, he doesn't. He goes off into the wall. So HR USA bins it into the barriers, and Emo Guy picks up that P5. And I must say, my heart was out there as HR USA lost it.
Rave. More bad luck.
Oh, is he hit Mark Grave?
Yeah.
No, Mark Grave. It's gone from bad to worse.
Yeah, as Mark Rave coming to that quick left-hander, HR USA was in the middle of the circuit, and Mark Rave has hit the front of him, and it looks like he looks to be struggling a little bit as Amazing Pie Boy is now onto the back of that BMW. So he's really starting to struggle right now. The race leaders at the minute, Freeman is now in front of Sergey. Sergey has now lost that second place, and Freeman is back up into that second place position. And Cheese Monkey is now trying to get onto the back of that Audi. Sergey seems to be struggling at this point in the race. So I don't know where Andy's gone. And Andy seems to have left. And yeah, so as we see right now, as I don't know who we're on board with, Cheese Monkey at this precise moment. So Cheese Monkey looking to try and bring that gap down to Sergey as quickly as he possibly can. But I don't know what's going on with Sergey right now, but he just doesn't seem to have the pace as Freeman is now in the zone and is looking to try and bring that gap down to Will. But at this precise moment, Will has got quite a big gap, 5 seconds to his second place challenger at the minute, and looking good.
I wonder if it was Freeman's tyre pressures that were letting him down a little bit, because JR was saying in the comments earlier he had a bit of a slow puncture, so maybe they just those pressures weren't quite where he needed them to be. He needed just to wait for them to get into as you say, the zone. And now Freeman he's got ahead of Sergey. He's in some clean air. He might be able to try and extract the best out of that AMG and go after the race leader Will Freeman. Will has had this one pretty much, to himself since he got out into the lead. He made a small mistake coming through Paddock a few laps ago, which brought the Jason pack onto the rear of him. But since then, he's kind of just got it back together again, kept going and plugging away, and he's got a good lead here over Freeman, 5 seconds. Sergey and Cheese Monkey still so close, and Emo Guy now he's in some clean air, may be able to chase down these leaders possibly. He's only a couple of seconds behind Sergey and Cheese Monkey, so those two keep battling. It will bring Ian into that fight. Amazing Pie Boy only 7/10 behind Mark Grave. Mark Grave is really reeling in P. Mitch in this battle for 6th place right now, and Red Bull Energy has got ahead of Marty, and he's now on the back of HR USA. In this
he's already got Pats in HR USA. He's already got Pats in. He's done it into turn 1. He's gone very wide into turn 3. I can now remember the names of the corners here at Brands Hatch, but Freeman is up and gone.
I think this one's Sheens, isn't it? This one's Sheens, and then I don't know, Paddock Hill Druids, and that one's Sheens. I don't know the rest. But
you know more than what I know.
Yeah, this Red Bull Energy there's into some clean air into 10th. He's got Normac only 2.5 seconds up the road from him, so He's continuing to make progress here in this race, making up for what was a shaky start to this race. But Cheese Monkey's still very, very close behind Sergey for third place. Mr. CJ is all over the back of the wall here. This is the battle for 15th. In fact, he's actually been waved by the wall. I'm not sure why the Wolves let him pass there, but he's breezed around the outside, and Mr. CJ is up into 15th place.
Yeah, the Wolves seems to be having a good run here. I think the top 10 is what he's aiming for, and I think that's probably his teammate allowing him to go by. I mean, it looks like similar colours than what he would run. So there's the wall. Oh, the wall! I think he has.
That was very, very close.
No,
he's in the wall, isn't he?
The wall is in the wall, guys, ladies and gentlemen. The wall has hit the wall. That's what I'm going to say. But
this is the novelty.
Now
you've always got to make sure whenever the wall hits the wall, you've got to jump on that. You've got to be on it, because you know when the opportunity is going to come again. You really know.
Of course, you really have to acknowledge that the wall has hit the wall, and when the wall hits the wall, you got to bring on the wall, and more wall. Bring on the wall. Another thing to notice here, Andy, now Emo Guy has cleared HR USA, and when I mean clear, HR USA dropping it, it's allowed Emo Guy to bring the gap down to Cheese Monkey and Sergey. So Cheese Monkey will now start to get a little bit worried that Emo Guy is hunting these two down pretty quickly. The gap that last time that I saw was about 3 seconds between them. Now it's 1.6, and the gap is still coming down.
Yeah, it's come down by about a second in the last lap or so. So these two are definitely going to be looking in the mirrors shortly, because Emo Guy's on a charge right now. He was being held up a little bit beforehand, but now that he's put himself into some clean air, he can really show the full potential in that AMG. Obviously, he raced in the Ginetta last season. He's had a car change. He felt that the Ginetta was holding him back a little bit last season. Mark Ray just got ahead of amazing. He's ahead of P Mitch. Yeah, here we go. Up the inside into Padakill, and he's going to have that one done, isn't he? Pretty routine stuff. No, he's not.
He gets a little bit of a weird twitch as he goes down into the dip of turn 1 and then into the hairpin. Mark Rafe in that BMW, not his night again. Just the luck hasn't seemed to be going his way. He looked like he was going to be good on second place, but caught up with Freeman at the start, and these two not been their night. As we see there, Mark Rafe will now gain that position on P Mitch right now, and P Mitch will drop down to 7th. Mark Rafe 10 seconds now to the next car of Emo Guy, who is pretty much caught Sergey and Cheese Monkey. Now is less than a second between them, so it's going to be spicy now for the third place positions. These guys are pushing it as much as they can. Red Bull Energy is all over the back of Norman right now. He's literally in the boot of that McLaren, and he can get a little bit closer as they go through this section. I think the KTM seems to be very good in the fast corners. It seems to grip really well, and it looks like it's got a strong chassis.
Definitely, yeah, but it's just not so quick on the straights, and unfortunately for Red Bull Energy, his progress is kind of being halted a little bit by the fact that he just hasn't really got the top end speed, which is hurting him, because that's the part of the tracks where we're going to be making those overtakes. But he is looking, isn't he? He's kind of got to hope that Normac makes a mistake, or a small little opening is going to appear. But amazing Fireboy very, very close behind these. He pulls out to the outside now. Maybe Normac's going to hold the inside line, and no way around for Red Bull Energy just at the moment. The thing is, though, he doesn't want to get too held up being behind Normac, because that's just going to give Amazing Fireboy that impetus to go and mug him and get a move up the inside or something. For the time being, still he's unable to get this move done right now on his Red Bull Energy on Normac, and it's hurting him. It's hurting his race because he's not able to.
Cheese Monkey has been as close as he's ever been to Sergey right now. He's right into the back of him as he go into the GP section. I think this is as close as he's been since he needs to hook up this whole section, get a great run out the final corner, and then send it down the inside of Sergey. But Sergey really starting to struggle right now in that Audi as we are coming up to the pit window. 35 minutes left of the session is when they'll be able to start pitting, and they'll have a 10-minute window to come in, serve their pit stop, and get back out, as F1 is in the pits at the minute, possibly due to repairing some damage to the car, but he will get a penalty, or he's even retired. So we'll keep an eye on.
He would have only had to wait a couple of laps. If he'd just kept on going for a couple more laps, he would have been able to come in during the pit window. So maybe it was some pretty serious damage that he just could not wait any longer to get repaired. That's unfortunate there from Mr. CJ.
Possibly.
But yeah, Emo Guy is still in the lead. He's got 10 seconds left. 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 He's got 10 seconds left.
But Cheese Monkey looks to get a great run out this final corner. Can he then eventually send it down the inside of Freeman? Sorry, not Freeman, Sergey. I'm so used to seeing Freeman in that Audi from last season, but it's the other way around. Can Cheese Monkey get a great run? He doesn't get the best run into turn 1, but he will try and go into the hairpin. Misses the apex by a mile.
Wide. Yeah.
Dave Sergey once again. Now that's just allowed Emo guy to get a little bit closer in the Mercedes. The ex-Ginetta partnership of these two, the only ones who were running the Ginetta last season. Now it's just Cheese Monkey, I believe, all on his own in that Ginetta, and he is under massive pressure from Emo guy, but he's attacking Sergey right now. He's in the most awkward position you could be in.
Yeah, he is, really, isn't he? He's a bit of a sandwich right now. He's kind of got nowhere to go, nowhere to hide, in a sense. And Emo Guy's done bits over these last few laps, hasn't he? Because he was well behind. He was 3 seconds off at the back of these guys, having a battle with HR USA. HR USA then binned it into the wall, which has allowed Emo Guy to get into some clean air, chase these guys down, and he's dropped off a little bit off of these guys throughout the course of the first sector on this lap, but he's still there in striking distance. He won't be too worried about that. Cheese Monkey, though, is inside that Audi in front of him. He's literally pushing him. He's being towed along, isn't he, by that Ginetta right now?
Yeah, Emo Guy running a little bit wide into that quick right-hander. Cheese Monkey, you can see in the car's expression, he's getting frustrated behind that Audi. Emo Guy right there, he gets a great run out that corner. The problem is Emo Guy is a very aggressive driver. He will go for the move when he needs to, and Cheese Monkey really needs to clear Sergey as quickly as they possibly can as they come and start another lap once again. These three really close racing between them. 3/10 towards Sergey and 2/10 behind Cheese Monkey. Emo Guy, can he hook up this turn 1? Cheese Monkey has a great run through turn 1, but he's not fast enough. That Ginetta just does not have the grunt.
No, it's got so much grip, but unfortunately, once you get to the next corners, Sergey's already got enough speed down to just have enough of a gap in order to be safe to him. And Emo Guy in that AMG should have more power than either of these two, but he's just not going to get enough drive out. He's not got good enough drive out of the corners to be anywhere. These three are just staying as you were. No moves, no overtakes are being pulled at the moment between these guys, and they're dropping off of the back of Freeman, 7.5 seconds behind Freeman right now. Freeman in turn falling off the back of Will. So this is really the main fight out on track right now, this battle for third. Red Bull Energy still behind Normac, 8/10 to the second, separating those two. HR USA managed to get he's ahead of Marty Red Racing, behind Amazing Pie Boy, and Kenny 9/10 to the second behind the wall just at the moment. I wonder if the wall is it looks like he's still staying ahead of him at the moment. But yeah, this is really the fight we're watching at the moment. Cheese Monkey still can't find a way around Sergey. What has he got to do? Has he got to go for a chink in the armour, try and force Sergey into a mistake coming through the twisty parts of the track where the Ginetta really excels? Or is Sergey just going to be ice running through his veins, cool and calm and composed as anything? Sergey, we know, is a man who does not get too phased by somebody in his rear view mirrors, so it's definitely not going to be easy.
The only thing that Cheese Monkey could do at this stage, he's tried many times. He's looked at turn 1. He looks like he's got a great run
out of turn 1. He's going to, Sergey's going to defend to the inside. He's got to look to the outside here. Cheese Monkey's going to try and cut back on the inside. Dives around the outside of Druids. He's going to go a little bit wide though. Sergey hugs the inside curb. And at the moment, Cheese Monkey's still not able to get around him. Emo Guy's watching this go on in front of him and hoping he might be able to scrap on the remains. But at the moment, there's nothing to scrap on because these two are keeping it together by the skin of their teeth. But I really thought Cheese Monkey had got that move done there. Coming out of turn 1 down the hill, he looked like he had a great run, but just wasn't able to make the most of it.
Yeah, what I was about to say before Cheese Monkey nearly had a go at Sergey, what I was going to suggest is that he gets in and does the undercut, get into the pits, get his pit stop done and out of the way, and then once he gets a bit of clear air, focus on trying to bring that gap down to Sergey and then try and jump him in the pits. It's the only real option. He's just tried the hairpin and Sergey knows he's going to try that one again. He doesn't seem to have the grip nor the pace to get anywhere around. We've got a couple of guys in the pits. We've got Mark Ray, Red Bull Energy, Amazing Pie Boy, HR USA, Martin Red Racing, Thomas and The Wall. All these guys taking their pit stop. Rulak as well. So all those guys are taking their mandatory pit stop. Mark Ray probably wanted to use that clear air to try and bring the gap down to the guy and the rest in front of him. But yeah, those guys are in the pits. And what does Cheese Monkey do at this stage?
He's got to pull the plug, hasn't he? Surely.
No, he doesn't. He stays out.
No, he stays out. Wow. I'm not quite sure why he's not just coming in, because at the end of the day, if he comes into the pits, he can get some laps down on his outlap. He can that's got to be his only chance, surely. I don't know whether they're just waiting on each other to do something, but in this situation, if you're Cheese Monkey, you've just got to do the opposite to Sergey, surely. I wonder what he's staying out for. Maybe he wants to stop exactly halfway. I know a lot of drivers put in enough fuel in the tank to... Yeah, it can be down to pit strategy sometimes. Drivers know that they need to come in on a certain lap and they know exactly how much fuel they're going to need from that point to the end, so it could just be down to calculations that these guys aren't pulling the trigger.
As you learned last season, Andy, the fuel is, no matter how much fuel you put in, whether it's a litre or 20 litres, it will fuel exactly the same as anyone else and everyone else. So really, you won't gain nothing from running a lower fuel run other than weight will help. But other than that, you can run pretty much any amount of fuel you want. As Emo Guy really close to the back of Cheese Monkey, but regardless of that, no matter how much you fuel up, it won't cost you extra time. So the time where you need to gain is out on track and try and gain as much time as possible when you're in clear air, as I think I did last night in the Clios. I benefited from clear air, no stress, no attack, and I gained 2 seconds on the pack when I came into the pits. So right now, I honestly think Cheese Monkey needs to come in, or if Sergey goes in, he stays out, but they're all staying out.
But the thing is, yeah, absolutely, the most conservative fuel strategy to run in this GT4 series is to run half and half, exactly. So that's the best way that you're going to always have the lightest possible car. If you run a half tank for the first half and then a half tank for the second half, that's the only way that you're going to be able to have the lightest possible car and spend the least amount of time in the pits, because as you said, there's no difference regardless of how much sort of fuel you put in the car. You're still going to have the same length in the pit box, so it really is a case of just fueling it half and half. So that's the reason why nobody wants to pull the trigger early, because then you've got a heavier car for the end of the race. So it's not ideal at all. But just at the moment, these three continuing to rage around, and I don't think any of them want to come in before they have to, or before they've actually set their pit stop. Nobody wants to come in before that halfway point. So I imagine you're going to see these three possibly all pulling in on this lap. That's what I'm imagining is going to be the case.
I reckon what will happen, I think Cheese Monkey is just waiting for Sergey to pit, and then he'll use that clear air. But either way, something's got to give right now, because at the minute they can't keep going around doing this. One person will have to blink at some point. If I was Emo Guy, I'd be in now. Like, as these two are too busy fighting each other, I would use that clear air, that clear space on my own, gain that time on the leaders in front of me, and then try and jump them as they come into the pits. As Will, the race leader, is now into the pits. Cololunga has also served his pit. Pete Mitchell as well has served it as well, and Team Elish as well has all served their pit stop. But Sergey's in.
Here we go. Sergey's in, and Emo Guy follows him in as well. So Cheese Monkey continuing around in the Ginetta, but interestingly now Emo Guy following Sergey in. So I don't know whether he's still reckons he can get the undercut on Cheese Monkey, but yeah, interesting stuff now. Cheese Monkey was obviously in the middle of that pack, and now he's the one who can try and... Oh no, he didn't. Oh no. Where is his pit box?
He can't find it.
I don't know where it is. I can't see his pit crew anywhere. Is he in his box? He is. I think he is in his box now, but Emo Guy's lost a lot of time there. Oh, that's a disaster there for him. Sergey still sat in his box, hasn't moved yet. Cheese Monkey, though, will be hoping that he can try and get the overcut on these two and get a bit of a gap when he comes in for his pit stop. Will Friedman's come out a long way ahead and should pretty much have this race signed and sealed, barring any kind of simply horrific ends to this race.
Anything can happen.
Have this one done.
Anything.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
You and I both know, and everyone else who races as well, even in the GT4s, you can be in the zone, you can be smooth and running your perfect race, but it just takes one little error, one little mistake, and it just completely changes your sync of racing. So not to be complacent, but Will needs to keep his head down and focus on what he's doing. An interesting thing to note as well, Mark Rave has jumped Emo Guy and P. Mitch, so Mark Ray going in early has allowed him to get in front of his competitors, and will now try and bring that gap down to Sergey, who's only a couple of seconds up the road. Cheese Monkey stays out for another lap, so we'll see.
Oh, Sergey really wide coming out of Sheens. He was all over that curve there, but he's got a back marker just behind him there. Sorry, Dan, it just looked like he was he almost flattened into the wall there. I'll let you carry on. Sorry, mate.
I was just going to say that regarding Sergey right there, he does not want to be making mistakes like that. He'll want to be making sure that his outlap is bang on, because Cheese Monkey is now going to be his main rival. Emo Guy messed up in the pits, and he will try his best now. Cheese Monkey, what can he do? No, he's got clear air. This is the question. What can he do? Obviously, Will and Freeman have got this top 2 podium positions at this precise moment, but Cheese Monkey is the interesting fight to keep an eye on. The pack is all strung out a little bit, 2 seconds separating some cars, maybe less than others, but the pits have taken that toll. As Chris Pissick joins us this evening and says go DJCs, as I'm sad to see Chris not racing in the Porsches. I miss him in the Porsches. It's one of the things that I can
he's one of those who've jumped on the PC bandwagon again, isn't he? He's gone to the GT3 to be racing.
Actually, to be fair,
3 o'clock on the afternoon on Sundays, but unfortunately, he will no longer be with us on PlayStation.
Might be able to give us some of us Project Cars guys an opportunity to try and navigate on these ACC games, but
yeah, it might give us a chance. It might give some people a chance to find their feet without being completely obliterated or embarrassed by the now seasoned veteran of ACC. He is coming in, yep. So he came in 20 seconds ahead of Normac. Will come out in the lead, Freeman second, but the question is Cheese Monkey going to be able to hold on for that final podium spot ahead of Sergey?
That is the question we're all waiting for. F1 is in again. He's obviously had to serve 2 pit stops for some reason, so he's in again. He might have underfueled himself the first time, but he is.
And one man I want to shout out, a big shout out to, is Mark Rave. The work that he's done through the pit phase. He's only 5 seconds behind Sergey on the track at the moment, is Mark Rave. So he's recovered quite well. He must have fixed that damage pretty quickly, and he's probably, what I would imagine, is only a net 5 seconds off of a podium place. As we can see, Cheese Monkey still sat in his...
He's only 5 seconds off of Sergey, so if he has got the pace to bring that gap down. Cheese Monkey is now moving. Sergey is now coming into the final corner. This is going to be very close and very interesting. Cheese Monkey coming to the exit of the pit. Sergey just on the exit, and Cheese Monkey with those extra few laps.
He's going to have it. He's got it. He's got it. Yeah, he managed to get the
cold tyres though. He's brilliant. Cold tyres. So Sergey needs to attack as soon as he can, while he can. But Cheese Monkey comes out in front of him.
He's got it.
3rd place.
Yeah, he's got it pretty nicely there, coming through Druids. So Cheese Monkey there executes the overcut really, really nicely there. And Emo Guy, unfortunately, 17 seconds even off the back of these with his dodgy pit stop. So he's going to be out of this fight for the podium spots. Mark Brave only 5 seconds off at the back of Cheese Monkey and Sergey. Don't count out Mark Brave from getting a possible podium here in this race. If these two, Cheese Monkey and Sergey, do start giving each other a bit of pressure or start tripping over each other, then it's going to be possibly a three-way fight for the podium spot. Will Freeman continues to lead this race by 9 seconds ahead of Freeman and Cheese Monkey.
That gap coming
Sergey
down.
and Mark Raven still going to battle this out though. Well, between Will and Freeman. Yeah.
It was 13 seconds. Freeman has closed that gap down to 9 seconds. I don't want to curse him, but he is flying in the minute. Now he served his pit stop, fresh bit of fuel. Maybe that Mercedes works better with a bit more fuel in it, and is now trying to bring that gap down to Will. We'll see how the gap forms, but once again, the only fight that's really on at the minute is Cheese Monkey, who's still trying to get temperature into those tyres. Normac is put onto the back of Red Bull Energy. Red Bull Energy doing a solid job to bring back up into 9th place. Amazing pie boy. I gotta mention him. He has done a solid job at the minute in that 8th place position. The current 17 people who are watching at the minute, get your comments in later on. Get about 10 minutes towards the end of the race. I want to know who you think the driver of the day is this evening, and I'll come to you as well, Andy as well. But there's plenty of drivers who are up for grabs for that. The wall is onto the back of Kenny once again. There's fights once again after all the pits are done. The gaps are coming back down, and the fights are coming back once again, like they always do in the GT4s.
I've got to say, one of my contenders for driver of the day is Mark Ray. I know it's obviously still got 23 minutes left in this race, but to come back from that first corner incident that he had, he got tagged a little bit by Freeman. It looked like he might have turned into him a bit, to be fair, but the way that he's come back from that, he's just got his head down and carried on, hasn't he? He hasn't let that stop him or get him down too much. He just kept going. Was 15 at the end of the first lap, and he's up to 5th place. He's only 4 seconds now off of Cheese Monkey and Sergey. So really well done to Mark Rave. He's been a standout performer that is for sure. But Will Friedman as well got out into the lead at the start, did not look back, just got his foot down, still chasing I think his first win in the Motive Racing Championships. So it'd be a big night for Will if he can keep doing what he's doing at the moment. But also Sergey, his first appearance in the GT4s, doing a hell of a job tonight in that Audi and continuing to pressure Cheese Monkey. Cheese Monkey got the better of the pit stops, maintained position and stayed up 3. But to be fair, it's been, you know, non-stop action wherever you've looked, haven't it? We don't know where to look sometimes in this GT4 series. It's just non-stop here, and there's always something going on, and it's been fantastic to watch.
Yeah, it always has been, and this is why I was keen to get back to commentating these GT4s. There's always something going on, there's always action happening, and like I said, there's still fights going on right now between Cheese Monkey and Sergey right now, but they're also coming up to traffic very soon of Thomas and the Wall, who are still battling it out right now. The Wall trying to defend in that KTM. I gotta say, that KTM does look very nice in that black, yellow and red livery. The Wall doing a very, very nice job of that livery, but Thomas is trying to pressurize him now in that being trying to hunt him down and trying to find a way past. But like you said, Mark Rave got to be up there for driver of the day. I'm going to say as well, Amazing Pipe Boy is another one to put into there as well. So yeah, there's many people we can mention for driver of the day, but so far it could be